This image shows one of the most produced and most widely used tanks of the 20th century, the M4 Sherman. From deserts to forests, from European country roads to the islands of the Pacific, the Sherman formed the backbone of Allied forces throughout World War II. Thanks to its simplicity, reliability, and overwhelming numbers, it became one of the tanks that changed the course of the war. When the war broke out in 1939, the tanks in the U.S. Army's inventory quickly proved inadequate. Models like the M3 Lee, with their tall silhouettes and hull-mounted 75mm guns, were unsuited for modern armored warfare. The M3 Lee served as a stopgap solution, but its mobility was limited and its firepower insufficient. Learning from the battlefields of Europe, the U.S. Army turned toward developing a more modern medium tank. The result was the M4 Sherman. Designed in an incredibly short span of just 7 months, it entered production in 1942. Named after American Civil War General William Tecumseh Sherman, the tank quickly became a symbol of the United States and the Allies. Its design priorities were clear: a tank that could be mass-produced, easily repaired, and trusted in battle. The Sherman's greatest advantage was its modular design. Power came from engines like the Continental R975 radial gasoline engine or the Ford GAA V8. With about 400 horsepower, the tank could reach speeds of roughly 40 kilometers per hour. Early models carried a short-barreled 75mm gun, effective for infantry support and against early German tanks. But when Tigers and Panthers appeared, the Allies developed versions with a long-barreled 76mm gun and even a 105mm howitzer. The British produced the deadly Firefly variant, armed with the powerful 17-pounder gun, capable of knocking out Panthers in a single shot. The Americans fielded the heavily armored J.D. Jumbo Sherman, whose frontal armor exceeded 100 millimeters. There were also many specialized versions. The duplex drive, DD Sherman, fitted with waterproof skirts and propellers, could swim ashore and then operate as a normal tank. These swimming Shermans played a key role at Omaha and Sword Beaches on D-Day. The Calliope variant mounted a 60-tube rocket launcher on top of its turret, turning it into a mobile artillery battery that could saturate German defensive lines with firepower. The Zippo Sherman, fitted with a flamethrower, was used in the Pacific to clear Japanese bunkers and cave systems, capable of projecting flames over 40 meters. Other versions included bridge-laying Shermans, mine-clearing crab tanks, and engineering vehicles, making the Sherman not just a tank, but a versatile battlefield platform. Armor thickness ranged from 50 to 75 millimeters, not as strong as its German rivals. Its main weakness was the dry ammunition storage. When hit, Shermans often erupted in flames, earning the nickname Tommy Cooker from German troops. This was later improved with the introduction of wet ammunition stowage in 1944. In total, more than 49,000 Shermans were built. Thanks to America's industrial might, factories like Ford, Chrysler, and GM, the U.S. could produce hundreds of tanks per day, giving the Allies an overwhelming numerical edge. The Sherman first saw combat in North Africa in 1942 at the Battle of El Alamein, where it became the backbone of the British Eighth Army. However, in battles like the Kasserine Pass, U.S. forces suffered heavy losses against German panzer divisions. These defeats forced the Americans to revise their armored doctrine. In 1944, the Sherman took center stage in Europe during the Normandy landings. In the hedgerows of France, Shermans clashed fiercely with German tanks and anti-tank guns. Sending several Shermans against a single Tiger became routine. Numerical superiority and relentless logistics compensated for technological shortcomings. In the Pacific, Shermans faced Japanese Type 95 and Type 97 tanks, against which they held overwhelming superiority. They also supported infantry by clearing bunkers and providing direct fire in dense jungles and fortified islands. The story of the Sherman did not end with World War II. In Korea, the upgraded M4A3E8 EZ-8 model fought Soviet-built T-34s. With its improved suspension and powerful 76mm gun, it fared much better. During the Cold War, Shermans remained in the arsenals of NATO allies and beyond. Israel fielded upgraded Shermans during the 1967 Six-Day War. Nations like India, Pakistan, Argentina, and others also relied on them for decades. In fact, some armies kept Shermans in service into the 1980s. Today, they can still be seen in museums, memorials, and even training grounds. Its simple design and mass production proved a strategic truth. Sometimes, quantity has a quality all its own. From the deserts of North Africa to the beaches of Normandy and beyond, the M4 Sherman truly was the workhorse of World War II. For more stories about the history of tanks, don't forget to like and subscribe.